Stage 4. New stage, new gimmick. This time we can't progress until we destroy all the seals in the area. However, this doesn't mean we have to kill the enemies, because if I wanted to, I could skip all the scrub mobs. For the sake of points, however, I can't really afford to do that though. You can sort of tell what barriers you're dealing with by their color. Red barriers mean you kill all the enemies, blue means you're destroying seals. Thankfully, none of the mobs here are painful to deal with, as we're dealing with the most basic of enemies in this stage. The only threat to my run here were the flying enemies, but they go down so fast that they were mostly a non-issue. Even as I'm going out of my way to destroy the seals first, they are really passive in this area. It's actually a nice change of pace compared to the previous stage. It's even nicer that it's an outdoor stage, so I don't have to worry about as many camera issues here. This stage reintroduces the Ramboys all the way back from stage 1. They're not so bad that when there's only one or two of them, but when the game starts overcrowding them, then they become a bit of a hassle. That is, until you learn that Kunai bursting is a thing, then they become more bearable. When you can lure them into a line and take them out with a single charge attack, it's pretty satisfying. See, only 2 of the 4 enemies here even attempted to shoot at me. I love it when the game decides they want to submit to death instead of putting up a fight. Makes it a bit less embarrassing for both of us. I actually would like to know what forces the AI to become as aggressive as it does at times, because sometimes enemies will attack you as soon as they spawn in, and other times they won't do anything. And I don't think it's a difficulty thing, because even on hard mode, the AI will act just as sporadic. Like the Grey Putty monsters came out swinging, while the Ramboy just stood there. I'm a bit lucky that the Ramboy decided to attack me as late as they did, because one big thing to take note of is that their hitbox is active as soon as they start running. And even while they're in their startup phase of their attack, the game can decide, you know what, they just hit you while blocking on the same frame. Yeah, this game it's special. I wanted to hit the Ramboy as soon as he spawned in, so he doesn't get any ideas before I decided to take out the flying enemies above the pit. Now here I wanted to get as many enemies as I could in a straight line. 4 is a solid number, and I even got one that shoots as a bonus. For the last Ramboy, I just decided to toss a Kunai and took no chances with him. I didn't want him doing something I didn't like, such as moving out of range of my attack or charging me head on. Now this last section is pretty painless. I'm just going to grab this coin here for a free 5,000 points, and these last 3-4 mobs are in optimal range of all of my attacks. Although I killed the first enemy on the second wave a little bit too early, and it did mess up the spawn for the last mob, but I was still able to salvage the Tate. So the last mob here are going to spawn in 2 instead of 3, but for the sake of my score, it's whatever. It's not a big deal. Just gonna nab some free points here, and the first section is done. 4 minutes. Dear Lord, why do I do this to myself? I'll never know. And speaking of why am I doing this to myself, I decided to do the charge attack well out of the range of the Ramboy, but the AI here doesn't know the simple concept of a punish, so we're Gucci. Now here we have a new enemy type, the Mushroom Boy, because of its mushroom-shaped head. Anyways, these guys actually block in the air, while not annoying at all for Hisui and Nabata because of their air kick. It's actually a bit obnoxious for Hatsuma, because while his sword breaks armor and his charge attack is unblockable, his air slash doesn't guard break, and he doesn't have an air kick for recovery frames unlike Hisui and Nabata. This also means that if you get blocked over a pit and you use all your air movement options, well, you're SOL, because you don't gain all your movement options on block, only on hit or kill. Now you see that nice big mob of 30 enemies? Yeah, we're ignoring them. I routed this stage to where I barely have enough points for the S-rank, and those guys aren't involved, so I'm just going to go out of my way for the Kunai and 3 points. Now there's a little glitch here where if you fall into that pit but dash right above the death plane, you can force the enemies I'm killing not to spawn in. I almost took advantage of that here, but I decided at the last minute that I wouldn't have enough points otherwise, so I just decided to take them out. I actually got lucky here. I didn't get shot on my recovery frames for this stealth attack, because you can't cancel that attack until it's really late into the recovery frames. And if the AI in this game actually took that into account, I would have to worry about how I kill the enemies in this game. But since they don't, we're done here. Just kidding. You know the name of the game here, boys and girls. 4 sections. Now this is quite possibly the least painful section in this stage, filled with nothing but great putty mobs and scrubs, myself being one of them. Now this section is another section where I could just ignore everyone here and break the seals, but I needed the free points, so work with me. This time the flying scrubs do decide to try to attack me out of my recovery frames of the stealth attack, but they were a bit too late for that. I almost ditched this mob here to press on to the next, but I decided nah, these guys were too free. So we're just gonna mosey on here, take out these 3 in a row. I was going to take out the last 2 here in a row also, but he decided to move to the right and delay the inevitable. Now this mount here, I wanted to take out the highest enemy closest to the seal first, but I dashed a little bit too early, and the enemy behind me almost hit me, but he somehow misses. Very lucky he didn't decide to shoot at me as I was dashing at him, because the AI loves to keep shooting at you once their sights are on you, especially after they fired their first shot. It was a really dumb idea here not to focus on the camera behind me where the enemy spawned in, because more often than not in my runs, anytime they end up dying, it's because I get hit off screen. It's never just something that I could physically see. Now this mob almost went south. I should have connived bursted as soon as a Ramboy spawned in, instead of waiting, because I could have got shot at by the enemy to the right, but I was able to salvage the situation and go for a little flashy kill in the end. Now, embarrassingly enough, I did have a run in here by dodging this gray putty mob here, backwards, into a bottomless pit. Now, I swear, I am a halfway decent Nightshade player. I promise. I'll even show off how much of a halfway decent Nightshade player I am at the end. Here, I just wanted to get this over with so I go out of my way to fight the first 2 mobs. Totally not sending out mixed signals. I skipped the 3rd mob for now because I'm going to do something a little bit special with them later on before I fight the boss. And oh my god, these stages are getting longer and longer, and I'm praying for shinobi level length at this point. I almost wanted to skip the 2nd mob fight, but I didn't want to do that, get the kill on the boss, and find out I was a few points short, so I decided to just say screw it and end them. I do not want to do this stage again. Anyways, gonna make our way to the top of the tunnel for the points, but not before breaking the 2 seals in front of us. If I was nice, I would have been able to snipe the seal with my kunai, but the toss was a little bit too late, so it was a little bit low. Had I would have waited here, I could have got it in 3 in a row, but you know, shoulda, coulda, woulda. This mob here really isn't putting much of a fight. Even they're just like, Jake, get on with this boss. Now that mob I skipped earlier, I killed them like normal except for the last enemy. I'm gonna drop them into the pit, and I do that and lose my Tate score. Now you're wondering why would I do that? And that's because instead of getting all my blood in the cutscene, or right afterwards, I'll get it when I'm near the door. And I do that so I have a full bar, and trust me, for this boss fight, I'm gonna need it. Well, boys and girls, almost 10 minutes in, and it's time. If you're still with me at this point, you'll learn that victory will be mine. Now, as long as you keep circle strafing this boss, then he can't hit you. The main reason why I wanted a full bar for him is because he won't spawn his minions until pretty late into the fight. More like 30 seconds into the fight. You want to know how I know? I counted. By the time they spawn in, I'm going to have 1 3/4 of a bar, but I won't be able to get my shot out until all 3 of the Ram Boys move out of their tornadoes. Now, luckily they were able to do that fast enough to where I could kill them and still safely get a charge off with some time to spare. Not even the wind can shield him, and that's that. I hope you enjoyed watching this as much as I enjoyed running it, and until then, see you next time.